Okay, so I just finished setting up my 2021 planner, or rather the first few months, because that's all this book will last me for. I haven't done anything to the first few pages, but I will. Normally my books look like this when I'm done with them. But I do like them to be a bit pristine when I start them, especially when it's for January, because it's, you know, magical thinking, new start, new chapter in my life, all of that. So I always start my planners with my monthlies, and they all have a washi taped tab for easy reference. So I don't use the index, I use the tabs instead. So January, February, March, and so on. They're not cooperating, sorry. Okay, and they all look the same, and I've only penciled it in so far. Maybe I'll keep it that way, I don't know. And I put in the moon phases because they are relevant to me. So I should say I am inspired by the bullet journal system and the GTD system, getting things done, but I'm not loyal to either of them, and I've abandoned most of the principles in the bullet journal system. I don't use the index, I don't use the future log, because I need this visual layout of the months. But it's been helpful in other ways. Here is kind of a main heading. That's why I have it up here instead of down the side. And it's my work projects list, or it will be. And I mean projects in the GTD sense. And here is my next actions list after all my sort of sub projects. This is my master list of projects, and they all correspond to a washi tape. So I will write this project in dark red, this in dark blue, this in sort of turquoise, and so on. Because I'm kind of synesthetic, so I need colors to keep track of my life. So yeah, main heading projects, subheadings, each project, you know, all the different ones. Main heading, next actions, they come after the projects. And on this side, as I said, a master list, and on this side a visual representation, again, of when they need to be done. So I've written very faintly January, February, March, and so on, half a year. And up here I'll write the projects again in their colors, and use those colors to put a line where they will be relevant, or when things are due, you know. So maybe the dark red project here, I put that first because it's first year, very logical. And then I already know that I will have to do stuff pertaining to that project in April, so I put a red line here. And then the dark blue one, maybe it's in February mostly, so I put one there. So I get a visual representation of when there's a lot to do, when there's less to do, and you know, what I have to start quickly, what I can wait a while to do. I tried that system this past autumn, and it really worked well. The projects rather from my master list each have their own spread, and on the left side of that spread I will put the sub-projects, you know, the sort of smaller projects within that main project that I have to do. They're not next actions, they're just part projects, or whatever you would call them. And on the right side I will put someday maybe lists pertaining to those same projects. I always have a lot of ideas that perhaps I never follow up on, but I do want to capture them, so I capture them here, and when I'm done with the book, when it's finished, I take a photo of that page and store it in my computer in a folder for someday maybe lists pertaining to work. So that's the structure for each of these spreads, you know, the sub-projects and the someday maybe list. Okay, and as I said, then we have the next actions list, divided by context, not geographical context because I work from home. So it's more divided based on what type of task it is. So reading, listening, computer, waiting for is not a task, it's just waiting for, obviously, when I've told someone I want this from you and I'm waiting for that. So since I can decide pretty much what I do in a day, I can sort of ask myself, do I want to read something? Do I want to write something? Do I want, and then I choose something from that list. So that really works for me. Yeah. And then another main heading, home projects. On the left side here, I put things that I absolutely have to do, so that I check on that list, because otherwise I tend to sort of forget about my home projects because I know all of them are sort of optional. So I've decided to have the absolutely necessary projects here and the someday maybe ones here, and that will be a long list. I have a lot of things I would like to do, but maybe they won't get done while I'm using this book, so they go here. But this page is for, you know, taxes and bills and things that you just can't ignore. And the things that go here, if I come to the end of the book and I haven't done them, I put them in my someday maybe binder, which is a binder for all the things I would like to do someday maybe, according to, you know, area in my life. So each of these tabs corresponds to an area, like car, cabin, clothes, music, photography, writing, and so on. And we can have a look at planning and junk journaling and sort of crafting, things like that. That's this tab. So I put everything here that I want to do at some point, but not now. So as you can see, I have a lot. I mean, each of these pages is full of things I would like to do someday, maybe. So you can imagine that I can't put all of that in my home projects list because it would just drive me crazy. So that's how I have solved that dilemma, because if I wrote all of my someday maybe lists in each planner, that would take up so much space that it would only last me a few weeks. Yes, I have a crazy life. This is for home next actions, and I've divided them by context. So computer, home, the place where I live, you know, when I have to do errands, and the nearest big town for big errands. And I've left 2 spreads for that. And then my weeklies take over. I'm hoping to have a section with only weeklies, because I have a tab back here for everything else, but we'll come to that. So as you can see, when the book is closed, I have my main headings here: work projects, work next actions, home projects, and home next actions. And here are the monthly tabs. And when I go to the work projects tab, I can see all the projects here. And at the back, you can't see it when the book is closed, but I know that at the very back up here is the tab for my weekly, my current weekly. So when I want to go, you know, to plan my day or my week, I know that that tab will always open on, you know, the current time. as it were. And all my weeklies look the same nowadays. I used to experiment with different layouts and make them pretty, but that just doesn't work for me. I need it to be very simple. So I have the days here, and here is a habit tracker and a moon phase tracker, and a brain dump. And that's all I need. And some days I need to do dailies because, you know, my brain is all over the place. I need a list to, you know, this doesn't work and I don't want to write everything I want to do on the calendar pages, because I do follow the GTD principle that you only put things there that you absolutely need to do, like meetings and deadlines. So if I want to do a daily with a list for this particular day, I go to the back. So this is something new that I'm trying this year, to put all the random, brainstormy, ugly stuff at the end and work my way towards the middle of the book. So here, I mean, I have all my monthlies, I have all my projects, and I will fill in all these consecutive spreads with weeklies, and everything else, like random notes, dailies, meetings, brainstorming, doodles, other kinds of meetings, I will put here. And maybe when I'm done with something, you know, when I've brainstormed something like in this book, I'll show you what it can look like. I showed this in another video, but why not? This is what it looks like when I plan something. This is how my brain works. I mean, it's just chaotic, and I don't want to see this in the middle of my weeklies or my projects. I want them to be very structured at the front, and then I can use the pages in the back for this kind of nonsense. And when I'm done with this, I will never reference it again, so I can paint over it, which I have done in this, let's see, and she doesn't find a page. Well, this one. This used to be like this, but I painted over it with acrylics and wrote sort of journal notes on it, so I never have to see that crap again. So I'm thinking this will be random notes and art and whatever I want, but it will be in the back, sort of contained and away from the more structured part of my planner. And I think I'm onto something here. I think this will work really well. And hopefully there was something of substance in there for you too. Otherwise, I'm sorry I had to sit through that.